Good journey, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. Um, welcome to the Space Oats podcast. This is the live version of episode 10 of Space Oats. So this is where the fun begins. Oh man, there's so much stuff to talk about. I really need to start doing this more often. I've been contemplating this, and I think I might do start doing like a weekly podcast. Maybe in March. I'm gonna get through this month a little bit and try to get situated a little bit better, and then maybe we're gonna do a weekly podcast because I got a lot to talk about. There's so much that's happened in the past couple weeks since I've done. It's actually been about 3 weeks since I've had my last episode. Um, I kind of cut off doing like I was doing some rewatch parties of Bad Batch, but I kind of stopped that. I had some visitors from out of town, and that got me sidetracked a little bit. And then, yeah, things been going on. I've been working on the Thursday nights that's been happening, so it really didn't work out well. So that's probably not going to be a thing. I think I'm just going to review for now some of the episodes. But hopefully I can get to doing this weekly because there's just so much stuff going on. I want to talk about the last 4 episodes of Bad Batch that have happened since I last um, did this, and a lot of announcements for Star Wars Celebration, which is coming up super soon. Oh my goodness, can't wait to get there to London and experience that. A lot of announcements. We'll go through some of the exciting news as far as who's going to be there. Couple announcements just yesterday, so super excited about some of the recent announcements and who's going to be there. Also, May the 4th, we got some things that are going to be dropping on May the 4th, and excited about that because we all love May the 4th, and there's a lot of things going on here in Orlando for May the 4th, and we're really excited about that. At least I'm really excited about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So we got a lot, so we're going to jump into this as quickly as possible so that we can get through all this mess. But I really want to just start off by saying that something just blew my mind. I don't know when this happened, but I threw in The Empire Strikes Back. I'm actually kind of watching that right now. It is the anniversary of the special edition of The Empire Strikes Back, which came out in, oh my goodness, I had it, and then I like totally took it down. I think it was, let's see, the special edition was released in 1997. So February 14th, 1997. I remember this. I remember I was actually looking. I meant to look to see if I actually had my ticket stub. Pretty sure I still do somewhere from when I went and saw that. That was when I was back in Maryland. I went and saw that at the Senator Theater in Towson, Maryland. So if you're it was an old time theater that they redid. They actually it was one of the selected theaters across the country that THX actually came out and certified to make sure it had the best quality of theater experience as far as sound and picture, so that the special editions could be viewed properly. So it was really exciting. It's an old time looking theater. They had like old cartoons and previews before the movie, so it was really cool to go see at that type of venue and see the special editions. And I remember camping out in line for tickets and everything. It was a lot of fun. So back in the days of when we didn't have anything new Star Wars, we just looked forward to whatever we could, re-releases, whatever that might be. So yeah, so it's the anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back special edition. So I threw in the Empire Strikes Back and I'm watching it, and something caught me off guard that I didn't realize, and I don't know when this happened. Maybe somebody can let me know. So the scene on Hoth, where Han and Leia are arguing in the corridors, and Leia says, what Han says, were you afraid I was going to leave without a goodbye kiss? And, Leia retorts back, I just assumed because of Wookiee. And what happened to the other line? It's not there. So Han said you could use a good kiss, but they took it out. I don't know when this happened. So this was a shocker. I was actually trying to Google it, trying to find out when did this get taken out of Empire Strikes Back? When did this happen? So a line that I grew up with. It's one of the. I mean, it's when you think about it, it's kind of like a harsh line, but I just don't understand. Like, why would they take that line out? Um, yeah, I just it's just these crazy things that happen. So luckily I still have the DVDs, everything. I can watch these original films the way they were, and get these. The other thing in Empire Strikes Back that always bothered me was when R2 got spat out of the little Dagobah creature, and Luke says, they changed the line from "You're lucky you don't taste very good" to "You're lucky you got out of there." So little tweaks over time that just changed, and things that I grew up with, and you hear it, and I wasn't even really paying attention. I'm kind of just like watching, and I was like, did I just not hear a line? And I had to rewind it and realize that yeah, they took out that line. So enlighten me on when this happened, because I have no idea when this happened. So really just threw me for a shocker. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, that was just really nuts. But anyway, so again, this is happening. So much. We only have, let's see, April the. I mean, I'm leaving for London on April the 6th. That's when I fly out. So a couple days before, and then we're staying a few days afterwards. But London is coming up quick, less than 2 months away. This is just getting crazy. So yesterday, there was another announcement, confirmed guests that are going to be there. Kind of no surprise. Been having conversations with my wife. Who's going to be there. She's like, "Do you think Ewan would be there?" Of course, Ewan's going to be there. It's close for him, right? So I'm pretty sure he lives in England. I mean, but so yes, Ewan McGregor is showing up. He has joined the guest list, so that's amazing. Another confirmed guest. I thought Ewan was going to be like a surprise guest, like kind of a no-brainer surprise guest. He was just going to show up at some point. So what does this mean? I don't know. Is it just because hometown London, or wherever Ewan grew up, around London? But does this mean that he's just going to be there because he's close, or does this mean that we possibly could get a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi? So I would be okay with a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I really, I hope it takes a completely different direction, and maybe ties in Riva a little bit, maybe continues that story, possibly a couple other little things. But I hope that the Leia story is done with, the Luke story is done with, and there's different adventures that happen. So who knows what this could mean? That Ewan McGregor is going to be there. The other one is going to be Andy Serkis, has been confirmed as well. What does this mean? Does this mean he's going to show back up? His character of Kino Loy, which was an amazing character. Did he survive the Narcana 5 escape? Is he going to be showing up in Andor season 2? I sure hope so. I really do. I think it would be really cool to have him pop up at some point at the end, maybe a couple years down the road, because we know this is going to be like more fast forward. I think season 2, kind of like a couple different arcs taking place over different years, because they need to get caught up right up to Rogue One. So it's not going to be all taking place in like a year's time like season 1 was. So we need to fill in the gaps there, and who knows, Andy Serkis could show up, Kino Loy, which would be really cool. I'd be happy with that. Or it could just be him showing up as well, because it's London as well, and I think I'm not sure. I think Andy Serkis, I don't know where he's from, but yeah. So we'll see what happens. And then the third one, which is kind of a no surprise as well, is Ian McDiarmid. Of course, in London. So amazing. I actually missed Ian's panel last year in Anaheim. So I'm going to really try to get to this one this year. I got to meet Ian McDiarmid last year, which was kind of a dream come true. It a very brief meet and greet at the hotel that I was staying at, and it was really late at night, but I got to shake hands with the emperor himself, and it was really cool. He was very polite enough to stop and say hi, which was really awesome. So uh, I love Ian McDiarmid, and he was just voiced in the one of the recent Bad Batch episodes, which we'll get to in a little bit. But it would be great to see him again. I would love to go to a panel of his and watch. I don't think I've ever been to a panel of his before. Um, yeah, so I missed it. I don't know why I missed it. I don't know what I was doing at that time, but I did miss Ian's panel last year at Anaheim Celebration. So would look forward to that. Hopefully being able to get there. So I have a lot of things on my list though that I want to see, and they haven't even really released the schedule yet. So who knows where I'm going to be. A couple other recent announcements because I haven't really gone over any of these. Billy D. Williams is going to be there. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it's going to be the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, so we're going to have a lot of Return of the Jedi guests. Hopefully there'll be some surprise guests, some big ones that maybe they won't even announce, which would be awesome for that panel. Because there's going to be a 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi panel, so that's a definite go-to. I'm going to try to get into that one. But Billy D. Williams is going to be there, so that's going to be amazing. Ahsoka Tano herself, Rosario Dawson, is going to be there, which is, I mean, come on, we're gonna have some Ahsoka stuff, right? I would love to see a first episode. That would be outstanding. But maybe even a theatrical trailer would be enough. So some kind of trailer for the series being released at Star Wars Celebration is got to be a guarantee. Got to be a guarantee. So and having Rosario Dawson introduce that would be amazing. A couple other ones: Gwendolyn Christie going to be there. Jonas Suotamo is going to be there. So don't know what that means. I don't know if is Chewie going to come back somehow, some way, somewhere. Ming Na Wen, we're going to get Fennec Shand again, I'm sure. So, that'll be cool. So, don't know what panel she'll be in. Maybe a Book of Boba Fett season 2 panel, possibly, or a Mandalorian panel. Who knows how that's going to go. Couple other actors from some side characters. Aiden Cook, Silas Carson, Matthew Wood play some characters that we know from some of the films. I'm not going to go through all those. Hayden Christensen coming back. So, what does this mean? Maybe flashbacks in Ahsoka. We've maybe heard some rumors about that. That would be pretty awesome. Just kind of how we had some flashbacks with Obi-Wan. Maybe we get some flashbacks with Ahsoka. Some live sparring maybe with Ahsoka and Anakin, which would be really awesome. Katie Sackhoff, obviously she's going to be in Mandalorian season 3, so probably talking about that appearance. James Arnold Taylor, voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, pretty cool. Going to be there. Mads Mikkelsen, going to be there. Don't know what that means. But we'll see. Dennis Lawson, of course, he was in Return of the Jedi, Wedge Antilles. So, and also the uncle of Ewan McGregor. So, who knows? Maybe they could share the stage at some point. That would be pretty cool to see that. Anthony Daniels, can't miss his panels. Hopefully he has another panel this year. I always go to Anthony Daniels panels. So they're always amazing, fun, and exciting. So I will definitely be hitting that up if I can. Ashley Eckstein going to be there, of course. She's always at the Star Wars celebrations now, and she's a delight to see whenever you can. Matt Lanter as well, the voice of Anakin Skywalker. They usually join forces at some point, which is really cool. D. Bradley Baker, awesome. I mean, voice of pretty much every clone, and also the voice in one of the new Young Jedi series that's going to be coming out on May the 4th, which we'll talk about. So maybe we'll get a little bit of information on that. Maybe, well, that'll already been released, but maybe, there'll be a panel on that at some point. But I also met D. Bradley Baker last year. He's an amazing guy. He stopped and talked to me for a little bit, which was really awesome. What else do we have? Hopefully my voice, everybody can hear me okay, because it doesn't look like I really, really hope that everybody can hear me. But yeah, this will be all for naught if there's no vocals. So I kind of want to test this real quick and see, because I just want to make sure that I am actually coming through, because I'm not getting like the bars like saying that anything is coming through on my vocals. So I just want to check this real quick and see. Um, let's see here real quick. It's gonna, yeah, okay, good. All right, cool. All right, so I am getting it. I wasn't seeing anything come through on my screen saying that, there was any microphone activity. So it got me worried there for a minute. But that's a great thing about doing things live. No editing. All unscripted here on the Space Oats podcast. That's what I like to do. So what else do we got? We had Ashley Eckstein, Matt Lanter, D. Bradley Baker, Giancarlo Esposito. Cool. So I don't think we've really confirmed. We haven't seen anything with him in Mandalorian season 3. But maybe that's going to happen. Maybe we'll get some talk about that. Vivian Lynn Blair, Little Young Princess Leia. We'll get some. I'm sure we'll be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi and that. And then I don't know if I pronounce her name right, but Indira. Oh shoot, what's her last name? Varna, I think. She played Tala Dureth in Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. So I'm sure there's going to be a Obi-Wan Kenobi panel, and we'll talk about that a little bit as far as what the afterthought was of that and how the series went. And hopefully we'll get an announcement. Maybe there will be a season 2. That would be pretty cool. But yes, super excited. So many people going to be there. I'm kind of torn. So I've done Celebration a lot differently every year. The first year was in Orlando. Did a lot of standing in line late at night. I was working also, couldn't get off of work. I was like bouncing back and forth. It was a lot of running around. It was my first time. Way different. Different setup, different vibe. Was kind of clueless on how to do anything. Chicago was my second one. The first time going out of state anywhere to do that. And bigger venue, kind of overwhelmed, but got to see a lot of cool panels at that one. Anaheim was a lot of fun. I tried to like really pick which panels I wanted to go to. We were staying on property at Disney, got to meet a lot of people outside of Celebration, which was really cool, with Lucasfilm and certain actors and so forth that were staying at the hotel. So that was pretty amazing. This time, I really want to, just I don't want to really stress over the panels as much, and really just want to have a good time with some of the other people that are there enjoying. So people that maybe I've connected with through Star Cruiser that are going to be there, maybe people that that I've really loved listening to some of their podcasts. I know that I really want to try to get to Who's the Boss. Mike Celestino, he has been selected for a live panel to do his podcast there, and I would really love go and meet him in person and hear his podcast live, because I'm a big fan of Who's the Boss podcast. So he's a lot of fun to listen to, and yeah, I really want to try to get to his panel. So that's a goal of mine, is just to kind of hook up with some people that just the fans that have loved Star Wars and that have inspired me to do this kind of thing, and that have played along with me at Star Cruiser, and just kind of hang out with those individuals. So that's a big focus of mine going to London this year, is to try to get to some of those. So we'll see what happens. I could just change my mind completely once I get there. So what else do we got? So let's talk about a little bit about May the 4th. So some of the May the 4th announcements, as far as what's coming out. We have the Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures that is going to be airing on May the 4th. So this, if anybody's not familiar with this is going to be a animated series geared towards younglings, kind of preschoolish age, I guess. You know, kind of like some of those the Disney Junior type of cartoons, which are not that bad, honestly. Like I would have never found myself watching some of these little series until somebody would tell me to. Like Spidey and Friends, kind of, they got some humor to them. So obviously these animators, these storytellers that are making these little animated shows that usually have like some kind of moral to the story for preschoolers, they're going to tell these stories in a way where the parents don't mind watching them. They're thinking about parents that are fans of these series, whether it be Marvel, Star Wars, whatever it is, and they want the parents not to have these annoying cartoons on. They want them to be able to enjoy it as well and not be annoyed by these things. Um, so I have a feeling it's gonna be kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch it. Of course, it's Star Wars. Of course, I'm gonna watch it. I'm guessing that it's probably gonna stay within that same format of some of those other series where it's gonna be maybe like little 2 mini episodes per episode. I don't know if they've announced any of that, of how that's going to work, but it looks really fun. The animation style looks really good. Um, it's got a lot of cool looking characters that I'm excited to kind of meet. Little droids. Yoda's going to be in it because it's set during the High Republic, and I honestly I've not I'm a little bit virgin when it comes to the High Republic. I've not dived into it completely yet. I've dipped my feet in the water, and I like what I'm reading, what I'm seeing. So this is going to be the first actual visual storytelling that we're going to see from the High Republic. We know that the Acolyte, I think, is going to be at this time, so that's going to be our first live action during that time period. But this is going to be our first actual series that's going to be live storytelling, visual storytelling. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that might help me draw me into a little bit more with the High Republic because I'm I'm not a reader. It's hard for me to get through even comics, things like that, keep up with that, to find the time to do that. So so maybe this is just going to entice me a little bit more, just knowing these characters, maybe these characters, this era of time period within the Star Wars galaxy, hopefully gets me going on this. But D Bradley Baker is going to be voicing, as I had said earlier, um, a different character other than a clone, which is going to be kind of interesting to see. I don't know what the character looks like, but I know his name is Nubs, is the character. So another interesting droid is the RJ-83, which is pretty cool because obviously this is coming out this year, which is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, which came out in 1983. Pretty sure, if I'm thinking correctly. So I guess that's a nod to that. Maybe they just factored that in, that it's coming out this year. So yeah, so May the 4th, that drops. I don't know if they've said how many episodes it's gonna be. Um, I don't see anywhere where I've written down where how many episodes it's going to be. So um, I'm sure it's out there. They may have released that, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how many episodes these things normally are. So, but I'm sure it's going to be enough to keep us tied over for a little bit until the summer when whatever else comes out. I always forget the time frames of when things are happening. So, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But we have some other things, if you're not into that and you're looking for something more adult that's going to be dropping on May the 4th, we have a season 2 of Visions that's going to be released. So I was a big fan of season 1 with Visions. I love Japanese animation, and Visions was that style of animation uh, in a lot of different ways, but animators all. From Japan. I believe every single one of them was for the first season. The second season is going to take it in a little bit different of direction, which I'm really liking because each episode is going to be kind of from a different country, from a different animating studio, big or little, or whoever that might be. And yeah, so we're going to get a bunch of different episodes. I think it looks like there's 9 different animation studios or animation styles from different countries and cultures. So depicting all these different visions of the Star Wars galaxy. So really looking forward to the differences here because it's going to be a lot different than what we saw with season one. So I'm going to be super excited about this. Can't wait to see where some of these are going. I'll run through the titles real quick. So the one title is going to be Sith. Um, so that already right there is really cool. We get a story based on the Sith, a short film. So that'll be pretty awesome. Screecher's Reach is another title of an episode. Don't know who Screecher is. Don't know what the Reach is, but I'm sure we'll learn about that. In the Stars is another title of one of the episodes. So that's kind of vague as far as what story that's going to be. I Am Your Mother. I like that title because it kind of plays off of the I Am Your Father, but I Am Your Mother. So that'd be interesting to see what that episode is about. Journey to the Dark Head. So I'm guessing the Dark Head is going to be a location. So yeah, so interesting to see this adventure of what this is going to be about. The Spy Dancer. Um, I'm really intrigued. I don't know. I love when music, especially the one episode. I can't remember the title of it from season one, but the episode with the band. That was like one of my favorite episodes. I love music. It's a big part of my life is music. I love going to concerts. I love listening to music. I like trying to play music. um, yeah, so that just seems interesting. The Spy Dancer. I have a feeling that that's going to be kind of like a play off of like some sort of like music or thing going on there. The Bandits of Golak. Don't know. I guess Golak is maybe going to be a planet, maybe or something. But yeah, this looks like it could be like a heist type of episode, so that should be interesting. Anybody that kind of likes those types of series, that would be pretty awesome. The Pit, that's gonna interesting. The Pit can refer to anything, so that doesn't really tell us much, but intriguing. And then don't know how to pronounce this, but Awa's song, which could be another music one, or it could just be. Yeah, don't know. That could go a couple different ways, but yeah, a lot of different interesting titles there that we can maybe think about what those episodes might be about. So I love the visions and episodes. So I'm super excited. As soon as the first season aired, I knew that this was going to be something that might be continuing, and we could continue to get all sorts of seasons from all over the place. So yeah, I'm really excited about another season of Visions. Can't wait for that to come out. So May the 4th, the Young Jedi Adventures and Visions Season 2 dropping. So a lot of content, I'm guessing, just like well, maybe not the Young Jedi Adventures, but the Visions, I'm guessing it's going to drop all the episodes at once. So that'll be a good amount of content to watch and review and talk about. So pretty exciting. We'll have a good amount of content. And of course, on May the 4th, there's so much going on May the 4th. Um, Definitely going to be trying to get the Galaxy's Edge on May the 4th or 5th, one of those days, because there's a lot of stuff usually um, at on Batu. And my big hope is going to be the Caleb Dune lightsaber, legacy lightsaber to be released, because I really want that. I've been waiting for that. It was the fan favorite pick last year, and I've been waiting for it for an entire year. So I really want that Caleb Dune lightsaber. So hopefully that'll get released on May the 4th in Batu, and I can pick that up. That would be amazing. What else? Obviously I'm going to try to spend the entire day if I can both of those days. And then on May the 3rd, well, not on May the 3rd, May the 3rd and 4th is a Star Cruiser voyage, which if I'm not able to get to Batu, I will definitely try to work on May the 4th. maybe May the 3rd, but I doubt May the 3rd because I usually don't work on Wednesdays, and that's when May the 3rd is. But May the 2nd, there might be a little thing going on for any Star Cruiser passengers on that voyage if you come a day early. If you follow Heroes of the Halcyon, you can learn all about that. So I'll let you um, join in on their Instagram, Heroes of the Halcyon. Get some tidbit on what that might be. If you're a local here in Orlando and you love Star Wars, I think are invited. And also, if you're a Star Wars crew member, a Star Cruiser crew member like myself, we're all going to be doing a little meetup. So yeah, so follow Heroes of the Halcyon. And I think even Princess and the Scoundrel might be there as well. So they might be promoting that on their Instagram page, and maybe even Dano, because I think Dano's going to be on that cruise. So that'll be amazing. I've met Stephen and Sarah before, and the fam, and they're amazing people. Heroes are outstanding, and you know, um, Martin and Christina and Drew, um, great people, and I can't wait to see them again. And then Dano, I've never met Dano, so I actually look forward to hopefully meeting him and maybe hanging out with him. So it'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of the Thank the Maker guys are coming on this cruise. Um, it would be awesome if they were. It is a possibility. That'd be really cool too, because I've never met those guys in person, and I really love that podcast as well. So, um, all my favorite podcasters, coming to May the 4th, it would be amazing, and also to hang out with them. So, if you're a big fan of any of those, check out, follow their Instagrams or whatever else social media that they have. Learn a little bit about this little meetup that we're going to do, and hopefully you can come join us. It would be fun to hang out. So for all of us Star Cruiser crazies, and again, even if you're not been on the Star Cruiser, maybe we can get you to come. I've never been a passenger, but I am a crew member. Been there all the time since the beginning, so it's a great time. Just got off on a fantastic voyage this past 3 days. It was my first time in a really long time that I've seen from beginning to end, and got to share the story all the way through. As the passengers are coming aboard, all the way until they disembarked this morning, and met some amazing passengers with some great stories, and really bringing it to the table as far as their costumes and their characters, and just having a lot of fun. And it was great to hang out with them. A lot of there's always some really good passengers that come on board, and you just got to find those ones that you know just draw them out a little bit and have some fun. It's great. So one day I'll be a passenger and I can join in on that fun as well. So, but yeah, May the 4th be with you. I can't wait for that to, we're only about, that'll be right hot off the heels of Star Wars Celebration. So it'll be a lot of fun. What else did we get? We got a lot of information. I don't want to talk about Bad Batch yet. I'm going to save that. I do need to get into this because I'm about a half hour into this, and I usually keep this in about an hour. I haven't even talked. Got 4 episodes of Bad Batch to run through. So, we did have a new Mandalorian season 3 poster at the beginning of the month drop, which was really cool. Din Djarin in Mando gear with his dark saber. We haven't seen that in the trailer yet. Haven't seen him with the dark saber, but obviously he still has it. So pretty cool. Also had little Grogu in the little cockpit of the Naboo starfighter, modified Naboo starfighter, which is pretty cool. And then there was a really cool little TV spot phenomenon, basically going through the announcements at Celebration, and just a little bit of rehashing as far as the fans, what they're thinking about Mandalorian seasons so far, and the excitement that goes around that. So super excited. March the 1st, Mandalorian season 3. So we'll be still going through Bad Batch at that time when Mandalorian starts. So a lot of Star Wars content on Disney Plus will be coming out. So going to be pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and get into Bad Batch, right? Oh my goodness, Bad Batch season two is starting to ramp up a lot. So let's see here. I reviewed, or at least did like rewatches and reviewed all the way up until Faster, I think was this. So it was like the first four episodes. So we've had four episodes since. We got an episode dropping tonight called The Crossing. So we're at the midpoint, though. We're at the midpoint. We had a two episode week last week, but let's go back to Entombed, which was that was released last week of January, January 25th. That episode, Entombed. Um, and so I was actually really, this was an interesting episode for me. At first, I was a little bit taken aback with this one. I was not really sure how to take this one. Um, it felt like one of those episodes. Like it felt I had a lot of vibes with this one. Obviously, while I was watching it, I saw a lot of parallels to Indiana Jones. Um, this archaeological, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of Dr. Afra, so you know that part of Star Wars has not really been dived into as far as characters looking for ancient. Anytime that happens in any type of stories, and there's been some stories, books released that have talked a little bit about the archaeological side. And anytime a Jedi is looking for a Jedi temple, when that happened in Rebels with Ezra, looking for the Jedi temple when they found it, all that kind of stuff really intrigues me. And I love that part of the storytelling of Star Wars, but to have it without anything that has to do with Jedi. So like Dr. Aphra gets into that, and with the Bad Batch, I was really not expecting this to happen at all. Um, I was almost thinking that this is how the Acolyte's going to be, honestly. Maybe like getting into like Sith artifacts and the awakening of the Sith. Um, and that's what my mindset is on where the Acolyte's going to go storytelling wise. But the Bad Batch, I was not expecting this at all. So at first I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And with this whole like machine thing that awakens, and there was kind of some parts of the story where I just didn't get it, especially with how the machine shut down because there's that stone that was removed that caused it to activate, but then you put the stone back in where it was and then it destroys it. Didn't really get that whole thing. Um, and like, what is this thing? The ancients, they brought up the ancients, which, we wonder, are we going to know more about this? And then if you've ever played, um, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, the video game, Fallen Order, the Zepho, they kind of the machine kind of looked like the Zepho a little bit, and then like when you get into the temple and Jedi Fallen Order, and the 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 robot like creatures with the chest thing that like have the eye beaming eyes that were like really impossible to defeat at first. If when you first played the game, you're like, holy crap, how am I going to beat this guy? And then you figure it out, and it's really easy. It reminded me of that a little bit. So a lot of interesting, but like this story just kind of came out of nowhere. And then I can't remember um, Wanda Sykes' character. I always forget her name, but Wanda Sykes' character just kind of like all of a sudden is just like with them. I think for that one, and she was just like there all of a sudden, and it's like, well, why is she on this mission with them? How there the story isn't very cohesive from episode to episode sometimes, so it's kind of choppy. At least my feeling is, and I didn't really know what to take of this episode. It was kind of one of those episodes where I hate to say filler. You gotta have fillers. I don't know where they're gonna revisit this as far as in the storyline with this season. So I don't know if there's gonna be any ties. I just don't think there is. But it's gonna be a um, weird tie-in if that's the case. I mean, maybe it isn't. Maybe they'll figure something out. It's going to shock me down the way. But yeah, Entombed, I liked it overall, but it really threw me off. So I don't know what your thoughts on that one are. Really threw me for a loop as far as that episode goes. I did watch it twice, and I liked it a lot the second time more than I did the first time, especially with like the ties to a lot of similarities between that and like the Last Crusade, and it was really cool. Especially listening to some of the other podcasts that kind of go through a lot of the parallels. It really made me think about it, and then I watched it again, and I laughed a lot, and it was fun. It was a fun episode. It just didn't seem like it fit in the story of this season. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The episode that aired on February the 1st, Tribe, this episode I really liked. Um, First of all, I mean, we got to talk about Gunji coming back, which was pretty awesome. Um, yeah, so they're going on a mission. Um, they get to this Axis. I forget what they're called. It was the Vanguard Axis, space station. So it's kind of like this crime syndicate made of droids, which was pretty interesting. Go to the space station. If you've never seen these characters before, from what my understanding is, I'd like to see more of this. Learn a little bit more about this crime syndicate, see where they fit in the story in the galaxy. Um, and then on the space station, they're obviously doing a job with the chain codes. That gets brought up again. And, this is something, a way to get through the galaxy if you're somebody that doesn't like to be known who you are and get these false chain codes. That's become a thing. And so that's a really cool part of the story to start it off. And then Omega, here's a Wookiee, and she goes to investigate, and it's none other than Gunji, we find out. So, which is really awesome. So, another Jedi that's, well, is he Jedi? Was he ever really trained? That's the whole thing. He's a Padawan. So, um, he kind of like Caleb Dune at that time, probably lost his master and had to go on the run. So, not really Jedi. So maybe kind of gave up his ways and just kind of went into hiding. So, of course, Wookiees are known for getting trafficked throughout the galaxy with slave trade and so forth. So, poor Gunji's kind of obviously uh, had this happen to him, and it has been captured. And but yeah, the Bad Batch free Gunji. They go back to Kashyyyk, which we see the Empire is there. We see clones using separatist droid um, vehicles, the tanks and everything, and they're kind of doing the dirty work for the Empire. The Trandoshans are, anyway, with the clones overseeing this. So pretty awesome to see the Trandoshans again back in Star Wars. So, and then we get these cool spider creatures, which have made their way into video games before on Kashyyyk, I believe. I know I've played video games on Kashyyyk before and seen the spiders in the underworld of Kashyyyk. So, it was really cool to see those and to see the connection between Gunji and the planet and the trees and the spiders, and Kashyyyk seems like a very force sensitive world. We've kind of come to learn from this episode, which is pretty amazing. Um, yeah, so Gunji got saved. Gunji's on Kashyyyk. So will we see Gunji later? Who knows? Wookiees live for a long time, so maybe Gunji shows up in live action somewhere. That would be pretty awesome to have a Wookiee Jedi in live action. Maybe we see that at some point in the future. Um, yeah, we'll have to see if Gunji shows up eventually somewhere else. But um, yeah, so I love this episode. It was really good. I think we're starting to see maybe Omega getting some force sensitivities, especially like after being with Gunji, and then the following episode, um, the clone conspiracy. Well, no, not the clone conspiracy. I can't remember if it was the end of this episode or if it was the second. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Truth and Consequences. But um, that we see Omega in the beginning of Truth and Consequences, kind of meditating, which is interesting. Like she's uh, learned a little bit from Gunji. So why is she meditating? Does Omega have a connection to the Force? I actually thought so in the first season that that was going to be part of the story, and it didn't happen. So is this going to be something that at the end of this season maybe we learn about, and then maybe that's going to be like the third season storyline is Omega um, discovering her Force abilities. So maybe they go and revisit Kashyyyk and Gunji in the third season. Maybe this is kind of setting up future storytelling for the Bad Batch. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. Um, yeah. So and then we get to last week's double episode. So we're halfway through the season, and this was really cool. I see why they did this as a double episode because the first episode in this double episode had nothing to do with the Bad Batch. Well, at least it set it up. So, but the Bad Batch were not in it. So another one of those episodes where at first I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Kind of reminded me of when we were watching the Book of Boba Fett, and then all of a sudden it went to the Mandalorian, and then you're like, why the heck is this? Was this Mandalorian season? Um, 2.5. So it kind of felt like the Clone Wars season 7.5. I don't know. But yeah, so Rex was back, and uh, Senator Tucci. That was really cool, which was kind of funny because I did not know this was going to happen, and like within the last week, I watched the episode of the Clone Wars with Chuchi, where they were on Pantora with the Tauk, um, and that's really where Chuchi actually made her kind of her debut and her getting to know that character and her standing up and taking the reins as a senator for Pantora. Um, so yeah, it was nice to see Chuchi back. Um, she's an interesting character. She's very naive. Didn't really. It was kind of her fault with some of the things that happened. She kind of drew attention to the matters a little bit. We got to see Masa Mita again. We got to see and hear and Emperor Palpatine with Ian McDiarmid's voice, which was pretty amazing. And we start to get to figure out what's going on with the clones. What is going to happen to them? So this is kind of the clone conspiracy sets this all up. The downfall of the clones. What are they doing with replacing? Why are they replacing the clones with the stormtroopers? Which has been a question, that we've all wanted to know the answer to. As far as why did the clones disappear? Why did the Empire decide to get rid of the clones, or how did they get rid of the clones and replace them with the stormtroopers? So we see this happening, and the conspiracy unfolds. Rampart is kind of drawn out, and as far as what he did on Camino, which nobody knew about, and the Emperor basically in public gets rid of Rampart, but don't really think we've seen the last of Rampart. Um, and the Emperor, does his normal thing where he uses that as a reason why the clones need to go away, which is that twist that Palpatine does is just amazing. He's so great at it. It was great storytelling as far as that goes, and with the clone conspiracy and then Truth and Consequences all telling this story together um, was really awesome. So it was nice to see, Rex, reaching out to the Bad Batch, Echo, and the clone, and the Bad Clone Force 99, um, and them coming to assist on Coruscant in this way, going to the core of the galaxy, and kind of putting themselves in harm's way to try to get this resolution, and then Palpatine just twisting everything around and getting it his way anyway. Getting putting into full effect that the clones are gonna be decommissioned basically. So we're gonna see this at some point. I'm guessing at the end of this season, where the clones are gonna finally be done away with. I think that's going to be like the ending of this season. So Camino, at the end of the first season, the facility basically being where the clones are created being taken away, and then I think the end of this season we're going to see the decommissioning of the clones as the climax of the episode. And so, what is that going to mean for a lot of our characters? So Echo has left the Bad Batch, which I'm kind of happy with. I'm okay with that. I kind of really want to focus more on the characters of Hunter, Wrecker, and Tech and Omega as a four, and see where their story goes and how Crosshair is possibly gonna maybe reconnect, maybe come back if he somehow gets tied into this, what's happened in these last two episodes, and there's some redemption there because of the clones being decommissioned, and how he feels about that because he's a clone. So is he going to be decommissioned? So yeah, so I think that's going to be how maybe he gets redemption and comes back to the Bad Batch, possibly. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And then you had those other clones that were kind of that like snipers that are different. So and they're new. So what's going on with that? Is this what is going on? Um, with, I think it was Lama Su that basically got taken off of Camino for these extra to go to that facility and figure out what's going on with that. So I think that's going to be again part of the ending of the series as well. Probably the climactic battle of the Bad Batch. Going to that facility and figuring out what's going on there with these new clones, because we didn't really learn a lot about them. So we're going to find out about that as well. So yeah, so next week's episode is going to be, what's next week's episode called? Let's see, we have Truth and Consequences, The Crossing. So The Crossing is next week's episode, or tomorrow's episode is The Crossing. So yeah, and I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to be watching that as quickly as possible. The Crossing. So what does The Crossing mean? Is it kind of referencing Crosshair? Maybe a little going back to his story, learning about the decommissioning of the clones? Maybe kind of like Crosshair crossing over into that redemption story? I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, so besides Star Wars, just to kind of take a little bit of the last 5 minutes and talk about some other stuff that's been going on. This week, well, I think it's just been this week, maybe last week, cast members for Disney have been able to ride Tron, the light cycle. So, been at Shanghai for quite some time now, knew it was coming to Disney World, and it is finally opening. I think April is going to be the opening to the public. We're doing some cast member previews. I got to go. I got to take my wife, a couple friends, and I am a huge fan of Tron. Let's throw that out there. I grew up with Tron. I actually have the original movie poster. One day I'm gonna hang it. It's my days working at Blockbuster Video way back. Yes, I am that old. Um, so I love Tron. I love the original. I grew up on the original. I used to. I remembered, um, you know, riding my bicycle, pretending to be on a light cycle. Light cycle. Love that scene. That was my favorite scene of the movie. I enjoyed Tron Legacy, so I was kind of a fan of that. I'm hoping for more Tron. I can't wait for more Tron to come out. Tron's great. I love the story. The Light Cycle run was a dream come true. So it's been getting some negativity, but honestly, it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. Yes, I wish there was a little bit more story, like as you're entering into the grid type of deal to kind of really feel that immersiveness of being a part of the story. I thought it was enough though, because if you really go back to the old version of Tron, it's very, very simple. So it reminded me more of the old Tron, the original film, not Tron Legacy. Not over the top. And who knows why? I actually don't know anything about the Q line in Shanghai. Um, Never really looked into that part of it, but I mean, if they're going for the Tron Legacy, who knows, budget, whatever that was, I liked it. I was happy, satisfied. It was a great. I got to ride in the front, which was amazing, outstanding. So I can't really tell you like what's better, what's worse. Only did got to do it once, but it was really cool. It's part inside, part outside. You immediately go outside, and then the rest of it's inside, and it's a blast. It's a blast. It's quick. I wish it was a little bit longer. Of course, you do any roller coaster, especially for me. But it's definitely fun. The cycle is kind of doesn't feel comfortable at first when you're like waiting for it to go, but then once you're in it, you don't even realize it. So I'm a small person too, so it's like to me, it actually felt pretty loose. Um, for me, actually, wished I was a little bit more snug in there, but I didn't feel like I was not secure safety wise. I thought, for what that ride was, it was safe, and I felt safe. But I loved it. It was great. I wish I got to ride it at night because I think it would be a lot better, especially going outside at night. I've seen some pictures, videos, and I think it would be amazing at night. Gift shop wasn't open yet, so I'm sure there's going to be some amazing merch to go along with the ride. So can't wait to see that at some point as well. So, but Tron Light Cycle Run was outstanding in my opinion. I can't really compare it to anything that's come out recently. Guardians of the Galaxy, completely different ride. I like them both pretty equally. So again, I'm a huge Tron fan. I was a Tron fan before I was a Guardians of the Galaxy fan. So I mean, I have to say I'm gonna put it on the same level. So it's pretty amazing, a lot of fun. So yeah, I hope the franchise does more and we can continue to see more Tron stuff with Disney. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Other than that, I finally got to see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I was a little disappointed, honestly. A lot of the hype out there got me, I think, a little bit too excited and maybe got my expectations a little high because I was a little disappointed. I thought it was a little long. Um, yeah, I mean, I get why they had to throw some of the story elements in there, but it just felt a little dragged out to me at some parts. Um, yeah, so I mean, I like where the story go. I like some of the new characters introduced. It just to me it felt a little disconnected. It was tough to watch. Tough to watch on many different levels. So, um, but yeah, as far as the story, yeah, I wasn't too thrilled with that. Also watched Guardian of the Galaxy Holiday Special finally, which was really funny. If you haven't seen that yet, it's like 45 minutes of greatness. I don't know why it took me so long to watch that one, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's been going on with me. So I'll be back in a couple weeks, probably at the end of the month. I'll do one more episode for this month, and we'll kind of review some more Bad Batch episodes and getting ready for Mandalorian season 3 at the end of the month, as well as I'm going to do another Crucial Crew Member, Crucial Character of the Month. I think I'm on maybe my 6th one. So this will be for, I think, Revenge of the Sith. So my Crucial Character pick of episode 3, I believe I'm on. I'll have to go back and make sure. But yeah, so it's 11 o'clock. I've been up since 4:45 this morning. So I'm going to watch the rest of Empire and head off to bed for the evening. It's been great times. I hope everyone enjoys watching this. Leave your comments of what you thought about some of the things that have been coming out, and let me know what you think about that missing line in Empire Strikes Back. That was a real shocker for me as I was getting ready for this today. So have a great couple weeks. Until next time, may the stars light your way.